The special teams kill the Leafs early on as they go down 2-0 early in this game. They battle back, and they get a pity point. The 1 point with the shootout loss, a 6-5 loss. For the first time this year, the Leafs have gone to the shootout, and let's be honest, Leaf fans, when it went to the shootout, did we have any confidence? Not really. And they lose at 6-5, like I said, and drop their record now to 23-8-7. Oh no. It's still an incredible record. Still not worried about the team. But one thing we are worried about is Ilya Samsonov. The numbers for Samsonov to start the season were phenomenal, but then they kept flashing on the screen, right? I mean, how many times did you watch Leaf games and they show, wow, look at the Octobers and Novembers or his first 10 starts of the season every year of his career. And they're always great. With Washington, they were always phenomenal. And Leaf fans, that's why I myself and a lot of Leaf fans just stayed cautious because we're like, we see these numbers and we know what the season numbers look like. So they must get pretty bad pretty quick. And over the last 4 games, Ilya Samsonov has been allowing a lot of goals. 5 more tonight. Obviously, the shootout one I'm not going to count. So 5 more goals tonight. And over the last 4 games, his save percentage has been sub 890. Yeah, like usually people say, well, sub 900 save percentage. Yeah, definitely sub 900, but sub 8 or 890. The best save percentage for him over the last 4 games has been 882. He has not been good, and the glaring issue that Leaf fans are seeing a lot of is that 5-hole. It's been a problem. It wasn't the first goal. It wasn't one of the shootout goals. Not a pretty one for Ilya Samsonov tonight. Albeit the Leafs defense didn't really help him out too much. But again, you want your goalie to be able to make the saves. Right? And the Leafs D has done an incredible job all year long, but when you need your goaltender to make a save, they got to be there. Now, yes, he did make some stops in overtime, but it really shouldn't have gotten there. So let's break this thing down. Less than 5 minutes into the period, the Leafs got a power play. And we're thinking, okay, maybe we get the early lead. We're feeling great. We'll see what happens. The problem with the 5-forward power play is you're prone to giving up odd man rushes the other way or breakaways the other way because you have 5 forwards out there. And that's what happens, but it's one-on-one with Brendan Saad and Mitch Marner, albeit Mitch Marner skating backwards playing defense. Love Mitch, love his defensive intensity. Skating backwards and doing it, not the guy I want to do it. But again, with a 5-forward power play, he's probably the guy I want back the most. Brendan Saad tries to get body position on Marner. He does a pretty good job of it, but Marner does not allow a heavy shot, but it's Samsonov going down early and then trying to push across, open up the gaping 5-hole, and Brendan Saad literally just slides it 5-hole on him as they get the shorthanded goal 4:52 into the hockey game, and the Leafs are down 1-0. Later in the first period, about 13 minutes in, a point shot comes, and it hits Alex Kerfoot on the way. Then it hits Braden Shen on the way, and it beats Ilya Samsonov. You can't blame him for that one. And the Leafs are down 2-0. So the special teams crushing us early with a shorty and a power play goal. And you're down 2-0 midway through the first. Not where you want to be on home ice, where the Leafs have really dominated this season, going into the game 13-2-3 on the year. But late in the period, David Kampf picks off a lazy pass through the middle of the ice from the St. Louis Blues. I can't remember. It was a Robert Thomas. I can't remember who it was. David Kampf picks it off, passes it to Kerfoot, who enters the zone, kind of stops up inside the blue line, and Pierre Engvall crashes to the front of the net. He's got Brendan Saad on his back. Kerfoot fires it on. A gorgeous deflection by Pierre Engvall. Looks like it's going to the left side of the net. With the tip, it goes to the right side, beats Jordan Binnington, and the Leafs are back in it. It's 2-1. That goal is at 17:28 of the first period. Assist to David Kampf and Alex Kerfoot. And at the end of 1, shots on goal are 10-8 in favor of St. Louis and 2-1, obviously, in goals. We go to the second period, and it doesn't take very long. Less than 4 minutes in, Jordan Kyrou scores. And it's Ilya Samsonov being down and out of a play, right? Trying for the desperation stop. And I've talked about it with Matt Murray. He seems a lot more composed in the net. We talked about it earlier in the season, like the desperation saves, the acrobatic saves. They're great for Samsonov when they look good, like the one in overtime. But on this play, he makes the initial stop, which is great. But then he's lying down, right in his belly and trying to make this stop. And I'm sorry, 9 times out of 10, those guys are going to roof that thing. And Jordan Kyrou does on the power play. 3:09 in, and at least they're back down 2 again. It's 3-1. And the special teams are the only reason they got these 3 goals. So you can blame the penalty killing, you can blame Samsonov, do what you will, but they scored a shorthanded goal and 2 power play goals. That is how they have this 3-1 lead early in the second. Then, William Nylander. Oh, this is a beautiful goal. It's a gorgeous shot from Willie Nee. As Michael Bunting has the puck below the red line. Was it on the power play? I want to say it was, but I couldn't. No, it wasn't on the power play. Bunting has it behind the net, and he fires it back up to the point, and Willie winds up and blasts this thing far side low blocker on Jordan Binnington, and it beats him, and it's a 3-2 game. Nylander from Bunting and Matthews at 4:38, and with that assist from Austin Matthews, that is point number 500 in his very young career with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is the fastest Leaf ever to do so. More milestones getting crushed by Austin Matthews, and hopefully he signs that contract at the end of the season and stays around for a very long time because Leaf fans are scared of that, obviously. Let's move on from that subject, though, shall we? And it's a 3-2 game, right? You're right back in a 1-goal hockey game. 6 minutes after that, I think it was this guy Neighbors. What a last name. Goes in on the forecheck, and I've talked about it so many times. You got to be hard on the puck, and this guy goes in, hits Giordano hard, gets the loose puck. Josh Levo, of course, is a former Leaf, getting the puck, comes in front, gets the initial shot, gets the rebound, buries it, and Levo scores it at 10:28 of the second period, and they restore their 2-goal lead. It's now a 4-2 game. But not long after that, like literally less than 20 seconds after that, a point shot from TJ Brody. Looks like it hits a few bodies, and then it hits Michael Bunting's skate, and we're like, oh god, this might be a kicking motion, but Bunting whacks it in with his stick to give the Leafs their 3rd goal of the night, and to get them within 1 goal. Again, it's now a 4-3 contest. Bunting from Brody at 10:45, and we're like, okay, we're right back in this one. Well, a minute after that, Brendan Saad scores another one. Brayden Schenn comes down the left wing, fires it in front, and Samsonov comes way out of his net and can't make the stop. Albeit, I don't like the defensive play from Liljegren and Sandin. Liljegren's chasing this guy from behind, Brayden Schenn, which is fine. Dude's along the boards, going down towards the red line, the goal line, right? You don't care about him too much. Sandin comes all the way over to force him, and I'm like, look, Liljegren's, both your defensemen are in the corner on the rush. So he fires in front to Brendan Saad, who wires it past him, and I'm like, look, defensive coverage-wise, I don't know what those two were doing. Liljegren, I get it. He got past him on the wall, so he's trying to chase after him. But again, he's along the wall. That's not the dangerous play. The dangerous play is a dude coming down the slot, and Sandin goes after him in the corner, and it beats him. That goes, like I said, 11:45 into the period, and they restole their 2-goal lead again. It's now 5-3, right? And then 3 minutes after that, Austin Matthews gets a rough pass. Was it Nylander or Liljegren who fired it across him? One of the two. And they fired across Matthews, and it comes to his back skate. It was a really awkward play, and Matthews his release, it's just incredible. As he roofs it, short side on Jordan Binnington for his first goal of the night. Nylander and Liljegren grab assist on the goal at 14:37 of the second period. Yeah, this is all the second period. This is wild. And we are still going here. And the Leafs, yet again, are within 1. This is all in the second period. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals in the second period alone. There were 3 goals in a matter of, a minute? Yeah, just over a minute. Just rough defensive play, rough goaltending on both sides. Shots on goal with 13-9 in favor of St. Louis in the period. And the Leafs go into the third, down 1, needing to find a way to score this one and tie it. Leafs get a power play. About, just under midway through the period. Nylander, along the half boards, just below the circle, fires in front to Michael Bunting, who gets it and beats Jordan Binnington, and we are tied at 5. Bunting from Nylander and Marner at 7:55 of the third period. And the Leafs have tied it, and we're like, man, can we find a way to come back and win this game? And we end up getting to overtime. And we're like, okay, well, you got a point out of this game where you've basically been trailing all night long. So it's not a terrible thing. And neither team gets a goal in overtime. Like I said, Samsonov made a big stop in overtime. It was 2 stops, right? One was the first save on was it Brendan Saad again? I can't remember who it was. But then there was a rebound that pops out, and he makes a brilliant stop there to keep the game tied. We go to the shootout. Kyrou misses, Nylander misses, and Matthews scores, but Robert Thomas scores. And I believe the Robert Thomas goal, what happens? Wide open 5-hole on Ilya Samsonov, and I'm like, bro, that is painful to watch. Watching him flop like that and have the 5-goal go wide open, it's really, really rough. Marner ends up scoring, and we're like, okay, Samsonov, all you need to do is make the save and you win the game, while Buchnevich just dangles him out, loses jockstrap almost like Connor Bedard did to all the Slovaks a couple nights ago, and buries it and retired there. Then they fire out Rasmus Sandin, and that's been something that a lot of Leaf fans are going a little bonkers over on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. However, if Sandin scored the goal, we'd be talking about how Sheldon Keefe's a genius. Now, Rasmus Sandin actually dangled the snot out of Jordan Binnington. But it was the desperation, I'm going to stick my leg out from Jordan Binnington that made the stop. All he had to do is maybe go a little bit farther closer to the post or roof it, and it's in. Does not. Makes a save. And then Braden Shen, I don't know. I mean, I think Samsonov guessed that he was going to go low, because if you watch the play, it looks like Samsonov was really, really low in the net, and Braden Shen just roofs it and ends the game, and you lose it in the shootout. Opportunities to win, didn't get the big stop, and you find a way to get a point, but you lose in the shootout. You move on to the next one, right? You get a point, you move on, but I think we can all agree Matt Murray should get the next start, and honestly, he should get at least 2 or 3 starts in a row. I think he's at least going to get 2. I think your next game is against Seattle, and then you play Saturday. You have a back-to-back. So yeah, the next 2 should be for Matt Murray. You got Seattle at home on Thursday, and then on Saturday you have Detroit at home. You have him there, and then you hit the road to face Philly. I assume Samsonov would get the start there. But then you run more Matt Murray, right? You got to give this guy some run. We talked about it in the last game, right? How when this guy's getting 2 or 3 games in a row, he may be sluggish in that first game back because, like we talked about it after the Christmas break, he didn't get the opportunity. And he had like a week and a half off or whatever it was, and he was kind of not great in his first outing. And in the second game, he had a rough first period, but then he really found his legs. And then obviously doesn't get the start yesterday, and Samsonov wasn't great again. And it's just really painful to watch. You really got to think that Matt Murray's going to get some run here with Samsonov's really rough play over the last 4 nights. Like, I get it. Samsonov wants to play, and he keeps saying, well, I want to get in there. I want to get in there. I get that. But you also got to perform when you're asking that stuff. And he hasn't recently. It's all a performance-based sport. You go out there, you perform, you're going to play more. And Matt Murray has, Samsonov hasn't. It's plain and simple. Shots on goal, 5 goals on 32 shots. It's not good enough. Michael Bunting had a 3-point night, 2 goals and assists. Willie Nylander continues his incredible year with goal number 22 on the year. He had a 3-point night, a goal and 2 assists. Matthews had a goal and an assist. And shots on goal in overtime were 5-1 in favor of St. Louis. And they win in shots in the game, 32-25. And special teams really killed the Leafs. I mean, if you look at it, they had 2 power plays. They scored on both. We had 3 power plays. We scored 1, but we allowed a shorthanded goal. So that kind of evens that out. So they basically won 3-0 in special teams. You lost in the shootout. Big problem there. And I wrote down the hits because I said, I think it was it the last video or a couple videos ago, where we need a little bit more size. Like, I'm thinking hard on the puck, yes. Would I like a guy that bangs body a little bit? Absolutely. Because this team lacks that. Hits were 52-19 yesterday. I mean, that's a glaring number. And was it almost triple? If they had 6 more hits, that would be triple our hits. Like, they were just all over the Leafs body-wise. And hence, they won in the shootout. They got the 2 points, right? So, Leafs move on, though. Like I said, Thursday they take on the Seattle Kraken at Scotiabank Arena. It's a Thursday at 7 o'clock there as they look to get back into the win column at home. And with Matt Murray, hopefully in the cage. I'd be baffled if he's not. Hopefully he's in the net for that game. And if so, hopefully it's a good outing for him and to build on. And more importantly, the Leafs get 2 points. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and were frustrated to all heck last night with the Leafs loss, smack the like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from last night's game for the Toronto Maple Leafs? See Twitter and Instagram links are down below. So follow up there if you guys have not done so already. The Discord links link is down in the description, so follow up there. If you guys have not done so already, please do so. And I will talk to you guys Raptors edition tonight as they are back in action against the Milwaukee Bucks at Scotiabank Arena, 7:30 tip-off there. We'll see what happens there. And as for the Toronto Maple Leafs, like we talked about, they're back in action tomorrow night as they host the Seattle Kraken at Scotiabank Arena, 7 p.m. puck drop there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and parts to the game last night. We'll talk to you guys then.